256.
Hey, you're listening to the very first episode of Take It Under Advisement. It's a show where we just came up with that name. It's a show where you do stuff and then we tell you did it wrong. And we tell you what we would have done instead. How about that? All right, my name's Chris Magyar. I'm allowed to give people advice because I'm a success. With me is John Tole.
Great to be here.
Yep, he's also somewhat successful. And also Andrew Tompkins.
Yes, I'm here. And a success.
We're all successes. So buy the book that we will write about success. But first, listen to this podcast.
Take it under advisement.
Take it under advisement.
Advisement taken.
Pull yourself up by the blue-strings, boy. It's advice you'd like to give.
But you never step across the tracks just to see how the other half lives.
You spend your whole life still giving advice that I didn't ask you for.
Trying to tell me what you don't know, and I know you don't know the score. So I tell you,
You ain't got the right to tell nobody how to run their life. You ran the world, now it's all torn with a hate.
stop.
You ain't got the right to tell nobody how to run their life.
All right, so let's start off with a couple news stories just to warm up here. This first one comes straight from Austin, Texas, where we are, from the Austin American Statesman. And I'm not going to read these news stories because they're so poorly written. But the gist is...
Take that guy with a degree in journalism.
I have a degree in journalism. I'm allowed to say that.
Oh.
Okay, so there you go.
Absolutely valid then.
This downtown Austin bar called The Ranch, which I have not personally been to yet, is getting sued because somebody was walking up their stairwell when one of the giant stuffed longhorn heads fell on them, causing internal bleeding and injury.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they're now...
Were they, like, impaled upon the horn?
They were not impaled fully, but there is severe personal injuries, including physical pain, mental anguish, of course.
Sure.
Permanent bodily impairment, which they don't go into, unfortunately.
That is like a nightmare. Like, imagine dreaming just a disembodied longhorn head.
What about just the pain and suffering, knowing that 25 alumni gathered around you while you laid there dead and bleeding, and they sang the eyes of Texas are upon you?
That's exactly. I don't. Normally we'd ask, what would you do in this situation? But they're suing the business, which I think is the right call. My question is, what do you do in that moment when a cow head out of nowhere falls on you? How do you handle this situation properly?
I feel like I would process it the way most things I process is that I would immediately be filled with deep shame for some reason, like. And then I'd be the only person yelling help, but I deserve this somehow. Like.
Is that what you would be? You'd be on the floor yelling, help, I deserve this?
I was like, I think I deserve this, but like I can't get, because I have a 3,000-pound disembodied and stuffed longhorn head on me.
Right, so you're looking for help for your general life.
Yeah.
The way that your general life led to this moment. Not help with the actual cow head.
It would probably take some convincing for me to rightfully sue these people. Like,
I don't know a lot about Hinduism and karma. But if a bullhead falls on you, well... Put down the burger. You know what I mean? I would, if you're walking up those stairs,
yes,
and a cow head falls on you, or in this case, a longhorn head falls on you, you're going back to step number 1 of the program. Okay, you have to admit that you have a problem. You got to turn in whatever chip you've been holding in your pocket. And then you just, but what if that was the end of your night? Now my whole thing is,
I'm wrapping up.
My whole thing is, I am a person, I don't believe in accidents. I think that, every decision we've ever made gets us to whether we're having this conversation, or you're the guy under the bullhorn. Okay. Gravity worked in somebody's favor in that time, and maybe something you did way in your past has earned you this opportunity. But maybe the opportunity of getting just brained, and now you're laying there on the floor. But now all of a sudden you're seeing life from a different perspective and you're learning something.
Yeah.
And with the money you're going to get from the lawsuit, that's a new business.
Well, he's definitely not seeing it this way because his claim is that the cow head was not mounted properly, and he's suing the owners for failing to select and hire competent employees capable of spotting potential risks to customers. Wow. Now, I've worked in the service industry. I don't know about you guys, but my least concern was looking around at the tchotchkes on the wall. If anything were coming down to brain a customer.
You just assume that
I was praying for it.
That was We get
That
to
was
go
the
home
goal.
today.
Yeah.
Are you telling me? Oh, every Sunday brunch that I worked as a server. If you were, if there was a guy and it wasn't even Easter, but you were dressed like it, I knew I wasn't going to get a tip. And heaven forbid,
Oh, yeah.
please, a clay pot fall from somewhere and get me. Because that every second I spent in that job was just the hammering home that I had wasted my life on baseball and a philosophy degree.
Yeah.
That's the saddest point.
Wait. I honestly didn't know that you got a philosophy degree
Oh, I have.
on a
baseball scholarship.
And a
You
baseball
already
scholar-
have it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
On a baseball scholarship. That's incredible.
You get to that point of
Like,
your career.
did you get shit from your teammates?
No. Because they were
Did they
too
not?
busy. No, they're too
Oh.
busy being dumb. You know what I mean? Like they're athletes. They're by nature they're morons.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so I painted myself into a life corner where all of a sudden I'm like,
What did I do?
yes, because I have 1 year of eligibility left, but
Yeah.
I also know I am never going to play baseball after this year of baseball.
Right.
So
Okay.
then in my mind is like, well, I'm just going to be a coach.
Okay,
So if I
okay.
have to have a coach, if I'm going to be a coach, I have to get a BA, and I have to have a BA in anything. And I had 4 majors up until that point, and it was in a meeting that I had.
What's the progression? What'd you go in with?
Criminal justice?
Okay.
I'm a CJ major, and I'm
Okay.
learning about criminal. And I remember my instructor at Sac State said that you're absolutely the worst student I've ever had. She goes, "You think you're funny? You're disruptive." Now, mind you, I'd been killing the whole year.
Did you tell her that? You were like, hey, you heard me.
Because I was sitting next to a Sacramento County sheriff. He was a canine dude.
Oh,
and so
okay.
like every day he would sit in the back of the class and he'd have his gun and his dog, and
Right.
I would just sit there and I'd pet his dog, and then he and
That's
I
the
would
best.
just be lobbing funny from the back of the class.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
well, I got a D. So, but then she told me, and that was in the write up. Like, she's
Yeah.
like, you really screwed up.
Okay.
So then I was like, all right, well then I'm going to junior college. I'm doing like general ed studies.
Okay.
Then I was like, oh, are you kidding me? I'm going to be an educator. I'm going to teach school. Why wouldn't I?
This thing I hate being at,
Yeah.
I'm going to be here every day for the rest of my life.
You know how I was too dumb to control normal citizens under the banner of criminal justice? Well, then lax it a little bit and give them children. Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
Okay,
and you
okay.
went from general ed to specific ed.
Specific ed.
Okay,
Somebody
yeah,
else's
all right.
specific
Somebody's
ed.
ed.
Then I had the bright idea because I learned that you could get extra, even like what's the master's degree?
Yeah.
But if you went into special ed, they would give you free college if you went into special ed. And then the
So
one
general
day,
to specific to
special.
Okay.
To special.
I like that at no point you were like, they're probably just doing this for charity, not because this is the most difficult job you could do in education. You're just like, I get free. It's like going and getting like a donut because you ran a marathon or something.
What sucked is that I just thought it would be. I'm like, you just because you see people, like the dudes who are just helping around the people who are just walking around during the day, and I'm like,
That's the best
I already walk around during the day.
I can hold someone's hand.
I can go to Starbucks like anybody else, and I'm making money. They're paying me to go.
Yeah.
I had a special. You have to go to early education. Like it's like a ride along for the cops.
Yes.
but it's early education
like
experience.
it's,
TA, but like
yeah.
a glorified TA. So you weren't
Yeah.
even like doing anything. And there was kindergartners, and there was a kid in the back.
Oh my God, they
And
will
it-
murder your soul.
His name was K1.
What?
K1 was the best little dude.
Wait, is it KONE or
K
number
dash WON?
Oh,
Okay.
So there
K1.
Yeah, so he was a radio station,
Right.
but also like an affirmation of
Also,
something
yeah.
that had happened.
He was like
He's a past
K1.
participle. Like you don't even have to go through life, dude.
Yes.
You've already made it.
I like that the first letter is already kind of like K. It's like K. One. I
Right.
guess I won. K. One. Okay. And this kid was.
And he was 5, and he was in the first experience that I had in this education process. And I was walking up and down the rows, and they were all working on their projects. And I remember he was very animated. He was just like he was like like he was sitting still, but his upper body was just moving.
Yeah.
like he was just like he was just enjoying music, but there was no music happening.
Okay. Well,
So-
that's like typical 5-year-olds.
I guess, yeah. So so I walk up and he's like doing his thing. He's like Eminem, like just
Yeah.
doing this. And I go, K1, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm rapping.
All right.
And I go, yeah? What are you rapping? And he goes, I'm going to whack that pussy. 5 years old.
I've never heard that phrase.
And that was the last time that I left the classroom.
Oh.
I was like, this is my first experience.
Yep.
I'm out. This is a 5-year-old.
This is the deep. This is the shallow end of the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That just sounds like a wealth of material right there. I mean,
Yeah, but I wasn't. I
Absolutely.
had already bombed 4 years earlier in college as a freshman. My comedy hadn't even started yet.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I said, well, I'm not gonna be able to have a baseball career. I'm gonna have to have a coaching career. I need a BA. And I had gotten kicked out of a bioethics class in my
bioethics.
Bioethics.
How'd you get kicked out of that? What were you proposing that they should do?
There was a nun that was teaching the
Wait, a
bioethics.
nun was teaching bioethics?
I went to Ohio Dominican University in Columbus, Ohio. There was 1,700 students, and I loved the school. I got my best grades, small classes, everything. And there was a nun, and she said that condom use, is against the Lord's
Sure.
directives because we are preventing a barrier to creation,
Okay.
and that in itself is a sin.
That's a thing that nuns say.
Yeah.
Yes, they do that.
So then hand shoots up in the back, much like it does, and I say, condoms are
For whacking that pussy?
and without. And as much as I wanted to say because I know, but I didn't want to throw that out there.
Right, Yeah.
So I
right.
just wanted to say condom use, 99 point. And I forgot the number.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then I guessed. I was like 0.3.
You don't want to go too crazy.
I didn't want to go too high. I go, look, and I said very matter of fact, I go, condom use, 99.3% effective. And she said, yes. What's your point? And I said, you don't think the Lord, in it's an infinite wisdom, could slip one by that 0.07 if he wanted to? She just pointed out the door. And I packed my things and I left. And then she told me to come to her office, and I sat down, and then she said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I said, I really enjoy philosophy. This is really fun for me. Because it was like the 4th philosophy class I was taking, because I was just taking things that I enjoyed.
Okay.
And I said, you're the leader of the philosophy. The leader. Like,
Yeah.
You're in charge. You're the head. You're the head
Führer of this,
of the
yeah.
philosophy department.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to get out of here in a year. Can you graduate me? And she just took pity on me and created a curriculum and got me my classes, and I graduated with a BA in philosophy. Here
That's
I am
incredible.
today.
To be fair, that was a very philosophical answer to the condom conundrum. Like, that is basically like, if God is omnipotent and condoms are not,
Yes.
God wins.
Did we learn that in statistics? Exactly. I'm only taking this because I'm bad at math.
I think
Don't you get it?
There's enough room in that 0.7 for God and Satan to get some shit through there.
That's incredible.
Oh.
I never had a moment like that in school at all.
Really?
No, where I like just like kind of owned it. The closest I ever got was I was in high school. I was the shittiest kid you could ever imagine, and I was taking geometry as a senior, which is normally like a sophomore class, but I just skipped it because I was like, fuck it, I'll circle back around, and I did because I failed pre-calculus like with a 0.
Oh.
Yeah, if you don't do any work, you get a 0.
Not even incomplete.
No, just a 0.
You didn't even learn that one equation.
That was the one thing
Yeah,
I
exactly.
learned.
They were
If
like,
you
we
don't
give him
do
an
anything-
incomplete, but he wouldn't understand it.
Yeah.
So we're going to give him a 0.
This kid gets 0, and the teacher was like this old hippie, and she wore those magnetic bracelets on her wrist. So it's like
Wait,
those.
your calculus professor?
No, my geometry professor.
Oh, your geometry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had vertigo.
Yeah, or I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Because there had to be a reason for him, and one day I just asked, I was like, "Hey, what are those bracelets for?" She's like, "Oh, they're magnetic bracelets. They're supposed to help with health. I got them for my brother." I was like, "Oh, that's nice. Why'd he give them to you?" He's like, "Oh, he died of cancer." And then I said, "Well, they didn't work for him." And
Oh, yeah.
Really?
yeah, and then I was like, that's when I immediately learned that I did deserve shame.
Right.
And then she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I did not say anything."
It sounds to me like you should have also majored in philosophy.
Yeah. Could you imagine laying on your cancer bed, looking up and going, God, if a bullhead could just fall on me.
All right.
Now, what would you?
Let's circle
What's
back
your
around.
go-to?
My go-to what?
The
If a
bullhead.
bullhead
Like,
falling
yes.
on me?
I mean, come on. Are you
I
coming?
think-
Are you going? Are you sober? Are you inebriated in your mind of minds?
you're-
Okay,
place called
I would
The
definitely
Range.
be inebriated. I'm
Okay.
at a bar, and so I'm a little bit more worried about how I would handle that as a bartender. Like, you're just tending bar, slinging drinks, and you see that shit happen. Do you keep going? Do you assist the person, or do you immediately start telling everybody, "Dude, check it out"? But okay, so I'm the
I
dude.
got these 4 taps. I got this one bitch ordering drinks that don't exist. I got all this.
That is not
a
that's
stressful
for the
job.
barbacks. So
I'm doing a special called a vertical horn. Now I'm writing it up on the chalkboard and ringing the bell.
I'm jumping on the bar with a bottle of tequila saying, "Free round of horns on me." All right, so yeah, if it falls on me and I'm on the stair, first of all, you have to take a pratfall. You got to fall all the way down those stairs. You cannot just be pinned there like a bitch. You got to
Every
make the
level.
most out of this.
Yeah.
I'm hitting every stair as loudly as I can. And
As
then,
as your momentum slows, do you do the foot push off to keep
Oh,
it
yeah.
going?
Oh,
you're,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
selling it.
I got to sell it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You got to go all the way down the stairs with the cow.
It's like the piano player stops playing and everyone's
Yes.
stops talking. It's just ka-chunk, ka-chunk,
Just
ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
maximum.
And then finally, like, as like the bullhead is following you down, and then like you land and you're like, and there's like a moment where everyone's like, and then the bullhead falls on you like a second later, so like, and then it's like,
Now there's 2 ways to play this. You got to be in the
yells
moment.
World Star.
There's 2 ways to play this. You got to be in the moment. The bullhead can either land in your crotch if you position yourself correctly.
If you're lucky.
Then you're
Yeah.
done. At that point, you're done. You've
Yeah.
won the night.
Yes.
Or if it lands on your head, now you got to start wrestling. So I mean, and I think you just steer wrestle that thing until you got to be drunk enough to pull this off.
Drunk enough
Yeah.
to be a minotaur. Let's
Yeah,
pull that
exactly.
off.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that you got to do that.
Maybe you paw the ground. Maybe
Are
you
you
go after that
Minotaur
chick you were
drunk?
keeping an eye on. You know.
Wait, are you like Bottom from Midsummer Night's Dream drunk,
Yes.
or just like what level are you? What level of are you Centaur drunk?
I think you
Like-
got to be feeling no pain drunk. I think you got to
Yeah.
be drunk, but still just enough awareness to keep the bull on your head and
Sure.
start hitting on a chick.
Yeah,
You know,
of
just
course.
like just play it off.
I would fall with such grace. They would think that the show The Fall Guy was back on the air.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was the rebirth of Colt Seaver. And when I stood up with that Minotaur, I would have been ready to
Yes.
teach ladies plenty.
Yeah, that's
All right. I'm gonna skip this next story because it's just about
How
finding
dare
money.
you?
It's about finding money. What would you do with money? Fuck it. Who cares?
Get in line.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's one from Australia.
okay.
All right, 2 female inmates from a minimum security prison. 32.
That's an Australian minimum.
30
security
yes,
prison.
Hold on, let me
32
take
and-
my shorts off. Go ahead.
32 and 21 years old attempted an escape by knotting sheets together. They tied sheets together in knots. Classic move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They
That's
did
a
that.
caper.
They made 60 feet long sheet rope
Nice.
to escape from a 1-story prison with a 15-foot fence.
they just didn't
They were
want to
caught.
Get lost.
They were caught before they could execute the plan, and everyone's
Yeah.
assuming that the sheets were for the escape. But I'm wondering, what were the sheets really for? What were you making?
Oh,
those
what if
sheets
it's like-
for? If that's
what if
you?
it's like
60 feet
straight
of
up-
sheets for a 15-foot fence?
Like they had to make that for like it's hard to get shit in prison, even like minimum security prison.
Yeah.
That means like a guard had to see them doing that and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" No one's that dumb,
Right.
to think that you'd be doing this, and they're like, what are we doing? What do we need this for? Like a tug of war?"
I don't
And
know.
they're
Yeah,
like,
how
okay.
are they accumulating these sheets? They were just like, oh, I just had my period, and like you don't even want to touch this. You know, like is that how they keep them? I don't know.
Man.
I feel like
The
I feel
sheets
like
look clean in the picture, so that might not be it.
I want to, the newest security guy on the tier,
Yeah.
walking into that office and going, all the inmates are complaining that they're cold. I don't know if you've looked into the cell or not, but none of them have sheets. No one's saying anything. They're too busy shivering. I'm saying if we throw a blanket out, we
Yeah.
might get some answers.
Right.
Wouldn't that be great if the warden is just so corrupt that he's just like, no, I like this. They're not
Yeah.
talking. This is great. We should have done this years ago.
It's a crafts project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe they're starting an Etsy store out of cell B5.
Oh my God, you wouldn't shop at that. Nothing but the most tasteful shivs
Yes,
that you could ever
absolutely.
imagine. It's like this was made out of a toothbrush.
This one's just macaroni. I didn't even think it would work.
That's great. What now? All right, now 60 feet. Are you throwing it with an anchor over the 15 high foot fence, attaching
Right.
it to your one?
That's the other thing here. We're on a one-story facility here, so
they're in the one story.
Yeah, they're on the bottom floor.
Are they making a rope swing? Are they trying to get momentum?
They're just trying to. Yeah.
Typically, a rope is for dangling from things.
Yes.
Right. So this is
You would
not
think that, yeah.
really going to work in this case because they're already on the ground.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Although you have to understand, like, if they were this dumb, like, it's
Slingshot?
probably good that they were on the ground floor because there's no way those knots are up to code. Like,
up to the code of the prison code?
Yeah,
Like,
up to prison code.
Right.
Like you're going to get right out there and just...
Who was a Boy
Unravel.
Scout? What knot do you use?
I was a Boy Scout.
What knot do you use to tie two sheets
What was
together?
that like? You had to
It
go to
was
school
awful.
dressed like
Yes.
that, right?
Oh,
yes,
like how
like,
was it
like
once a week?
sometimes one day
Did
a
you
week.
have to?
yeah.
Did you have to
I did
dress?
that, yeah,
So you guys had this in common.
I
Yeah.
started. I stopped because of the shit I got. I would keep it in my bag.
Where did you stop? What badge?
At the stop and getting shit
Yes.
for wearing your uniform badge.
Which that's a different badge for
The-
everybody. You know what I mean?
The rank I achieved was life.
Wow.
Which is just below Eagle, but like the badge I got that got me out was like, oh, I have a job now. Like I'm not getting paid to have a bunch of fucking redneck guys be jerks to me. Like I'll go over to McDonald's and I'll get paid for redneck guys to be jerks to me.
Right.
So that was pretty much
Who are
it.
these Eagles where they're better than life?
That's how it works.
You wonder that, yeah.
How does that work?
It's a little bit weird. You get all the way to life, which I think life like
Life Scout sounds like the worst Christian
Yes.
harmony band.
and it's the worst badge because it's like it's a
it's a
heart.
heart with
it's
like
a heart.
it's a purple heart, I believe, right?
No,
or a
it's-
red heart on a purple
I don't think
background?
it's purple. Yeah,
yeah.
It's the worst badge you could have. Yeah,
So it's just motivation to get away
to
from
get
that
out
fruity
to get
badge
to Eagle.
to get to
yeah.
Eagle.
And like the Eagle badge, he has like guns
Claws,
and like
yeah.
hot chicks on it
Yeah.
and stuff.
There's a lowrider in there somewhere. Yeah.
Can I buy that badge at a truck stop in Waco?
Of course you can.
I can. Okay.
If I had it, I would give it to you.
You have to have that badge to get into a truck stop. And yeah. That's absolutely how it
Those
works.
showers won't open themselves.
Yeah, they're like no Star Scouts in here. That's the
It's
one
got a little
underneath.
chip embedded that just opens up the glory hole.
Oh, you took that. to
That's a
weird
good
place.
chip.
No, I didn't. This is the Boy Scouts. I took it where
The
it
Boy
needed to
Scouts
go.
are
Yeah.
That is an awful organization.
See, I stayed with the Boy Scouts until I was 16, which
Wow.
means I was wearing those Dickies to high school.
Yeah.
But I never went past second class.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just never bothered to get badges. I was only
Oh,
in it
yeah.
for the camping.
Oh, I thought you changed after second period.
No. Second class is your tenderfoot is the lowest.
Yeah.
Badge, which just don't even think about the etymology.
You know,
there.
thinking
my
about this
God.
this is a very demeaning organization. Like just the names of shit. Like
Yeah.
it comes from England. Started in England.
Oh,
Well,
Then
it's started
moved
by
over.
a British guy.
Yeah.
who
So
was
then there's
very into
there's
macho-ness.
Pussy Willow and
with 13-year-old
Pumpernickel.
boys.
Those are all different
Really?
levels. No, that'd be great.
No,
but-
Pussy Willow's like Wolf Scouts. What was
Like,
that, Cub Scouts?
I literally know so little about this. You could tell me anything. And I would just be like, oh, yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to believe this.
Ah, of course.
I got a badge. Like one of my badges was emergency preparedness. Was
Yeah.
the badge.
Yeah.
And like, there's a whole section you have to learn about what you're gonna do when the A bomb hits.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the badge is like. I
And you
swear
just
to God,
study
I
it in a book. You don't practice.
So
Yeah.
where do you get the time machine to go back to 1948?
It's in the
Or is that
manual.
45? I don't know what year that was.
They haven't updated the manual since then, so
Yeah.
it's just real easy. It's
So
all
it's
the
still there.
information's
Although
right
I
there.
bet now there's like bioterrorism thrown in on that one. That might
Oh,
be
yeah.
fun to look up.
Terrorist prevention badge.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there is one. Yeah.
Terrorist prevention.
Stop, drop, and tape up your windows.
Exactly.
Do that immediately. Yes.
It's like which blade in the Swiss Army knife do you use to stop a terrorist on the plane? None. You had it confiscated by the TSA. Thanks for playing. But yeah, so the badges. Okay, real quick. Tenderfoot.
Okay.
Second class.
I'm in.
First class.
Yep.
Star.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Which is the kissiest band, like
What?
Kiss as
Yeah.
in the band.
It's a one no one wants to make.
and then
We're gonna
and then skip
And then,
one.
and then it
Star
goes
Life.
up through the different levels of Kiss. So it starts with Star, and then the guy who's dressed as a cat, and,
Yeah,
then,
cat.
and then you get all the way up to Gene.
yeah, the tongue badge or whatever
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, and then
No, it's
Life,
Star, then Life, then Eagle.
then Eagle, and then Silver Palm Eagle, and that's when the president writes you a letter.
No
that's-
way.
If you get a silver palm, which is really hard, you have to stay until you're like 20 to get a
palm
silver
like
palm.
a hand or palm like a tree?
Palm like
the
a tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if
they're
you
like
get
the
your Eagle-
Illuminati. Of
Wait
the
a
Boy
minute.
Scouts.
And fucking Obama's from Hawaii? Get out of here. You've been playing the whole time. I knew it.
Yep.
And if you get Eagle, if you then join a military organization like the Army, you start out private first class.
What?
Yeah.
Because
It's same thing for the Girl Scouts. If you get like the highest rank, which is like
what are the badges of the Girl Scouts? Do you know those?
Phone etiquette. That's true, by the way. That's not me being sexist.
What? Hold on.
No, that's 100% true.
Hold
Google
on.
that. That's
I'm
not a
using the
real
internet.
googly fact.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I'm not using the internet this week. Okay, that's one thing that I promised myself.
Really?
And by that I just mean Reddit and Drudge. I'm not allowed to go on.
All right,
I wish I could stop Reddit. I hate Reddit.
I had to tell myself to do it. I don't hate it. I love it.
The levels in the Girl Scouts are brownie,
in
junior,
there.
cadet, senior, or ambassador.
Oh my god. You can make your own badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
is
which
this?
group to look at.
When does the Triple X pantsuit come available?
All right, I'm supposed to
That
pick a
is one
topic.
of the badges. Pantsuits.
Pantsuits.
Now that's me being sexist.
My choices are: I want to learn how to ballroom dance, I want to learn how to create a set for a play, or I want to learn how to cross country ski. All of
man.
these sound.
Those are kind of kick ass. Why don't
Lesbian
you just
to me.
Google phone etiquette, Girl Scout badge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm just fact checking you now.
You get like
Some
like
googling music.
you
now.
get to GIR and it automatically populates that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, you've got Google Music already.
I might. Let me see. I might be able to take us into.
Oh, I guess not.
Hold
I
on.
am
Are you
a
not going to
sexist
find
dick.
it? You are. Well, are you actually admitting that you're sexist? You don't really have to. Who's going to call you on it? Think about that.
Some broad.
Yeah. Who are these broads?
No, wait. There is a phone etiquette badge, and a new portion of it they're saying is going mobile, living in a cellular world.
Oh, okay, good.
And
yeah.
it's learning, when to use a cell phone and when not.
Oh man,
my
I'm just
God.
waiting for the time when I'm on Jeopardy and Girl Scout badges is what is
One of the things they tell you is
What
how,
is phone
how a
etiquette?
cell phone bill works. Stop running it up on your dad already.
All I see them is doing a dance routine to Madonna's Material Girl.
Material Girl,
But
yeah.
singing, I'm living in a cellular world. I'm a cellular girl.
Oh man, I bet they had to work really hard on that. That shows a lot of planning and initiative. Good job, girls.
Cell phones can connect children to spammers, scammers, identity thieves, online predators, cyberbullies, and phone viruses.
Who are they talking
What's
to?
a
The people. They
phone
sound
virus?
like they're being.
This
They're
is a
advertising.
module
Yeah.
that you learn to
Really?
get the badge. Yeah, I found.
Oh, you mean they're advertising to people to sell cell phones? Hey, are you a pedophile? Get a cell phone.
What level of badge did the people have that caught our two escaping
Oh,
people
God.
ages 18 and 32? What was that? What was the
They-
manner that they got caught?
Oh yeah.
They do not have phone etiquette because they're fully making fun of the prisoners in this article. Where is it? They've been moved away to another correctional center.
Yeah, to the second floor. No, they were actually blindfolded and then moved back to their original cell.
Yeah, they're blindfolded with a sheet.
Oh, don't give them a sheet! I told you not to give them a sheet! And now they're gone!
They face losing privileges if found to be responsible for attempting to escape custody. I still think they weren't trying to escape. I think they had other plans for these sheets, but I'm going to move on.
I want to know what
They were
landed them in
hoarders.
jail.
They were hoarders, and
Yeah,
all
jail
they could have
hoarders.
was sheets. That was it.
That's all they had. Got to work with what you got. Okay, in Japan, they have robots.
Of
Oh
course.
yeah, they do.
Oh my god.
that are just garden lamps that can walk around. Here, I'll show you
Wait
the
a
photo. Yeah, it's just a garden lamp that can walk around. And the article's just saying that this could be used if you want your garden to look differently. That was the only possible use they could come up with. But my question is, you're at somebody's party, you're in the backyard, you're whatever, hanging out.
Yeah.
And the fucking robot lamp walks up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? He looks at you right in the eye and he goes, Sarah Connor. And you gotta run.
Oh shit! It's gonna. God, here's a real news story. Japan invents something useful.
Yeah, please do someday.
I don't know what's useful. Like a donut. We've already got those. I'm thinking about donuts a lot today.
Have you been?
Yeah.
You want one? Yeah.
I don't really want one. I think I just like the idea of a donut.
Go have 5 and then revisit the idea. That's my
Is
number.
that the John Tole? Is that the John Tole guarantee?
If you want to talk about the shame, right under the shame of being a drunk minotaur, it's my 5th donut.
That's a fifth.
Fifth donut.
absolutely.
It's always number 5 because I have a beer theory that's like this.
Oh, I like this.
Okay, so the first 3 are free,
Yeah.
but then there's Lord Fourth beer, and so with Lord Fourth beer, you have to decide whether or not you're going to join his kingdom for the evening and continue to drink, or if you're going to say adieu and say farewell to Lord Fourth beer and go home.
Okay.
So you that's the crossroads. The fourth
Really?
beer is you can have that fourth beer, but now you're faced with your decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first three on me.
The first three are free.
Lord
Yeah.
Fourth beer.
Lord Fourth Beer says, "Do you want to stay in my winter palace, or must you leave my kingdom for the evening?"
Okay.
Oh, see, now at the level, like when I'm going, when it's really, really going, by the time I'm like reining it in to even have that conversation, look around and go, "Hey, what fucking kingdom am I right now?" Like, at that point, I'm like 5 Jamesons and like 3 PBR tall boys.
Oh my
And then
God.
maybe just a couple of like, the shot that's not really whiskey because it tastes like a Fireball. I drink
Fireball,
Fireball.
yeah.
Because you're winding down, but you got to
Yeah.
maintain. So
Right.
now I'm at my 11th drink. Now I'm looking around. Now I need a kingdom.
Yeah.
Where am I at that point?
You're like, how did I fashion this bat out of a pipe somewhere?
Yes.
And then
Yeah, you do need a conversion chart for this because, like, what's the equivalent of 4 beers? The math gets complicated.
It's different for everybody.
It is different.
I'm 3 in and I already feel like I'm just working. Like to the third beer, I'm like, I'm feeling it, and like, do I keep drinking? And generally, I just keep going because someone else is driving, right?
So, yeah.
And but.
Well, I
So
guess
everyone has their own level.
I guess much like these prisoners, I'm 60 sheets to the wind. Don't let me do it. I will be here all day.
This is the one thing you wanted.
So you use a Fireball to keep the party going?
You have
Because the
to.
only thing I've ever used a Fireball for is a digestif. Because I have this theory
what?
that like my
You
hangover.
call it a digestive,
you-
it's not drunk.
It's true.
Oh.
And I cannot get rid of a hangover until I shit. I believe that all of the hangover comes out that way.
Yeah.
And a Fireball,
We are visibly uncomfortable now. That-
a Fireball is going to start that process for me. So
Okay.
if I want to keep drinking without getting a hangover, my theory is take a Duke in the bathroom. Get a Fireball in me
Anyone
15 minutes
else-
first. Duke
someone
in the bathroom's
else's
going to
bathroom.
happen,
Yeah.
and then I can start drinking again. It's a
Yeah.
fresh hangover at that point. I can rebuild.
We can rebuild it.
We can rebuild
That's
him.
perfect.
Yeah, so
That
that's
is
the only
perfect.
thing I've ever used a Fireball for, but only in emergency.
So is
Lord
that when you is that the point where you're like okay, I have to go do this. Hey, you just have your daughter like, hey, save my seat, and then you go.
Because I'm always drinking heavily with my 2-year-old. Always.
Based on the way you drink, I feel like they were like, "How did you get here?" And we're like, "Oh, my sponsor drove me." Lord Fourth Beer. This
Beer.
guy over here.
Yeah.
sponsor.
I picture he's like the Burger King mascot. guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many disappointed sponsors are out there? There's got to be a lot, right? Like.
What do you mean disappointed? Sponsors?
Like, you know,
for this show?
because their whole job. Well, there's got to be a few. Oh man, I've never been that bad. Like when you got a guy calling you, it's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. Like I've never been that bad ever.
You've never had friends pull you aside and have that conversation? Like,
no, no. I feel like I've been fairly lucky. I have had it for articles of clothing I've worn though.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, you have to stop wearing that bright orange V-neck. And I'm like, but this says everything about me.
Really?
And they're like, you really have to stop.
You
wearing
really
it.
need to change.
Yes.
Is what we're trying to
and
say.
I felt really bad that I gave it away. I still like that V-neck.
And you said, Ralph
Yeah.
Hardesty, whatever I wear,
Ralph Hardesty.
is my choice.
Yeah. I thought I'm sorry. I missed. I thought sponsors. We were talking about like companies, like disappointed sponsors sending people to bars, giving people free Fireball shots, and some dick just going like, "Oh, great, this will help me." Shit.
But I was, yeah.
I did see one of those girls that they send to bars. Light beers always do that. You
Oh,
know,
my
they hand out
favorite.
keychains. It's always around the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I saw one who was it was at a dive bar in Santa Cruz, California.
Yes.
And she had handed everyone in the bar a keychain, but she had to be there another hour wearing her short shorts and her tight shirt. And she
Get
just
paid.
planted herself at the end of the bar and put on the most depressed face I've ever seen in my life.
She just goes and sits.
And just radiated vibes, do not talk.
That is really.
And just repelled wave after wave of guy hitting on her,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though that was her job to be
Yeah.
hit on, and just
I
started drinking.
always wanted to know what the mascot of the UC Santa Cruz banana slugs looked
banana
like.
slug.
But there she was,
Yes,
with the banana slug look on her face.
basically just yellow drool coming out of her Coors Light mouth.
What was it like living in Santa Cruz, though? That must have been amazing. Living in a beach town. I've lived in Pacific Beach, I've
Yeah.
lived in La Jolla and Ocean Beach, but I've never in Northern California beaches.
Santa Cruz is a great place. Everybody should go there, but don't live there because it's an amazing spot. It's next to the mountains. It's next to the ocean. It's got a cool hippie vibe. It's been untouched by strip malls. A lot of people there are really interesting. But it's only 50,000 people, and half of those are UCSC idiots.
Oh.
And so when you really get into the town, I lived in the town. I was the newspaper reporter for the town.
Nice.
Yeah.
You'll learn that it's basically a small town in Kansas that happens to have great real estate. They have all the same hang-ups and BS and politics, and they're the most conservative city I've ever lived in. But they think that they're liberal gods because they're in West Coast California or whatever. I hope we have Santa Cruz listeners. They love hearing this.
We will.
Yeah. And
what was your beat writing in Santa Cruz?
I was the news editor of the Alt Weekly. So
Nice.
I had the whole beat, like whatever.
Just anything that's going on.
School board meetings, city council.
This girl has dreads.
There's a fight at the Crow's Nest.
The Crow's Nest. Absolutely had to go there a lot to figure out what was going on.
My brother got married in Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah?
I had to give the toast.
Oh.
And I had been doing stand-up for maybe like a year.
Oh, that's the most dangerous
Nice.
time to give someone a mic.
Now
Yeah.
yes.
Because you're over your fear, but you don't realize that you can ruin everything
Yes.
at
Yes.
any moment.
But I was so cocky that I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
So my dad speaks for a living. So he goes up and he does the speech first. Now, not at the
Wait,
the wedding.
what's his job?
He's sold food for craft.
Oh, okay,
And so he would always do speeches and
Yeah.
like business presentations, and he was always a great talker. Like,
Yeah.
Like he killed at a funeral once. I watched him do it.
Yeah.
I told him recently, I was like, "You're the reason I do stand up comedy because you control the room at a funeral when no one should have been able to do it. And you pulled it off." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you're weird." And so you have the pre-wedding hangout, the dinner,
course, yeah.
the rehearsal dinner.
Right.
Yeah. So my dad goes up. He does like 2 minutes. I go up and I do 5, and I just 5 for a year in, and I'm roasting. I'm like singing. Everybody's getting a little bit, and then I'm bringing it. I'm absolutely bringing it. So I go into the next day completely unprepared because I go, look, I've already been funny.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be poignant. Now I'm going to tell, and I got
no.
up there, and I don't think in the whole history of me being an adult I had ever said anything nice to my brother.
Oh.
And I look over him at this thing, and my voice cracked and all I could get out was, "Everybody here looks really good."
Did you then just leave? You were just like, everybody looks really good.
I said how proud I was of him, and
Yeah.
I was done. I couldn't get a word out. Like the lump. If you've ever had a lump,
Right.
couldn't
Yeah.
even get past it, and I
Yeah.
fell off because the daggers I was getting from my sister-in-law. I never live it down.
Oh, man.
Never live it down.
All right,
Wait.
so here we're talking funerals
Yeah.
and giving speeches and a year into stand-up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how my mom's eulogy happened. Okay, so no shit. I was doing stand-up for about 9 months. It wasn't even a year.
Oh my god.
And my mom dies, and I
my
go
God.
back for the funeral,
Oh my
and they all
God.
said, "Do you want to give a eulogy?" Because I'm the talker, I'm the brave one. I do things on
Yeah.
stage, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I want to give a eulogy. I love her," and I'm like writing down all the poignant things that I want to remember about her. But I'm thinking now I'm a stand-up.
Yeah.
I know how to like build this thing. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna get up there. I'm gonna get everybody kind of like.
That is a dangerous thought.
It was the
when someone
worst
is
thought
like,
possible.
"Oh, wait a minute, I'm a stand-up."
Yeah.
Like, no, you should never think that ever.
No,
Like,
you should
no.
not, especially at a funeral. So my parents super Catholic. This is in the Catholic Church, and my cousin, who is a priest, is presiding
Yeah.
over this, and it's like high mass. It's a
Yeah.
mass, right?
Fuck yeah, it
yeah.
is.
And so, and then they bring me up after the gospel reading to
Are you the
start
only person
eulogies.
speaking
I am the only one
English?
doing a eulogy.
Oh, you're it.
Yes. And so I get up there and I kick things off with an impression of my mom shouting gibberish while chasing the dog with a wooden spoon, which is a cherished memory of mine because she was
Yeah.
a weird and funny lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing is standing on stage with a wooden spoon. I'm standing on a freaking altar with a wooden spoon going,
Did you set it up like?
blank stares. I did not set it up. Blank stares. Nobody knew what the hell was wrong with me. Like they just, and it was like the bombiest bomb ever. And then here I have to go back to my little sheet.
First of all, you're a prop comic.
Yeah, right. Right. And I've got a sheet full of poignant memories that I'm like
That
shaking like a
now-
leaf now because I've got bomb jitters.
Oh yeah.
And everybody in the room there is sitting there. Not only
This
do they
person's
feel
crazy.
bad for me for bombing, you know how you feel when you're watching someone bomb and you
Yeah.
feel bad for them? But I'm the son of the deceased.
They have to be nice.
They have to like be supportive, even though
Yeah.
that was a terrible idea. I don't know how I got through that.
That is what. Oh man.
I got so many pity good jobs after that they don't
Yeah.
phase me now.
Was the silence so bad where the altar boys were shaking the bells like just to give you a little bit of come on?
caught a glimpse.
Did someone close the lid of the coffin since they said even she can't put up with this?
It was cremation, and I was surprised that the urn didn't fall over, just to like punctuate the moment.
That would have been amazing.
Just spill the ashes on the floor. I did catch a glimpse of my cousin sitting in the back, like the priest chair, with just the most pasted on smile ever, and just red faced, embarrassed for me. And so
I'm sure when you get to the level of being a fully ordained priest, that you've presided over Lord
Some
knows
awful
what
stuff.
Right.
And you're in confession.
You've seen what you've heard in confession, what you've witnessed people not having the best time of their lives, doing eulogies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, I think he would have been able to take it in stride if it weren't for his it being his beloved aunt.
Yes.
This is family for him. Anyway, all right. Well, I think that's probably enough for one episode.
I love it.
Chop it up. This is good. This is fun.
Good.
We'll
Super
do it
good.
again. All right.
Where can we find you then?
I don't know yet.
Lord, drop the plug.
Well, at Chris J. Magyar on Twitter. Let's
there you
stick
go.
to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you do yours.
I'm at Andrew Tompkins.
How do you spell that last
How do you
part?
spell that trail off?
Yeah.
That would be a great Twitter handle. Then I might actually have some fucking followers. 4 years, I'm up to 400 followers.
Nice.
That's not bad.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's just at Andrew Tompkins and done.
There you go.
right.
At John Toll. JOHN.
Hey, we all got our
OLE.
names.
Yeah. What? Yeah, we all have our names.
Yeah.
As our Twitter handles.
I only Snapchat and Instagram was the only one I wasn't able to get.
Yeah. I had to
Oh,
stick
yeah?
the J in on Twitter because there's another Chris Magyar in Alabama who does Russian wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, and his photo feed is not pleasant.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's weird.
Yeah.
I had to stick the J in or Dina was going to leave.
Wow. All right, that's how you end a comedy podcast.
4256.